You all for joining Marie.
Oh, that's wonderful, Patrick. I'm so glad. Thank you for going through the list of everybody that's here. I really do appreciate it. And I definitely want to keep this as interactive as possible. So thank you for sharing your businesses. Do know that I like to take questions actually during a webinar because it keeps it very relevant for you. But understand if it's a lengthy question and a personal question, we do have time set aside. We're in Central Time right now. So when we hit the 7 o'clock hour, I will go ahead and finish up the presentation, if not beforehand, and then we'll launch into Q&A if you'd like to wait for then. I will turn off the recording for Q&A because that is the benefit of everybody that is in here. Plus, I do want to preserve your privacy. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started here. As you can see, we've got a couple of groups here and I'm excited to be here all the time and excited to work with you because I do come from a military background in that I'm an Air Force brat, and I wear that very proudly because I grew up in military bases my entire life, all across the world. So across the United States, in Europe, in Asia. I have been growing up and going to Department of Defense schools. In fact, my first job was at the commissary. And so I very much know, understand, live, and love the military lifestyle. And what's so nice, not only do you have so many people committed into service, but we also had a family who had my mom owned a t-shirt shop. And so we did that. We had to worry about PCSing and taking a business along with us, which is a whole different set of challenges that come not just from a move or being able to do some, TDYs even. It was incredible. And I'm so glad and grateful that I had that experience. And I actually graduated from a Department of Defense school. So I'm one of the people that I actually love the fact that I can look and see that I have a letter of commendation from the Department of Defense anytime I hit the honor roll. So that's pretty cool. And then, of course, I have just loved being able to work with military families, veterans who are transitioning to civilian life, and military spouse entrepreneurs. So it's been really fun to get to do that with the Google team. You'll also see not only am I an Air Force brat, but I have children of my own. I have 3 boys, and I do love small businesses. So I just give you a little context here about me. I do come with a strong small business background. I have run and owned a small business for 18 plus years. I actually earned the Texas Governor's Excellence in Small Business Award. I know digital marketing and the digital space, not just what I'm talking about today, but everything from e-commerce to international e-commerce I've actually been involved in with 14 years. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you may not even get within the slide deck. And I am going to be sharing that experience with you so you can take it and usually use that as a place to leap off of and even grow more and work with UTAA or REI to get you closer to that goal and really formulating a successful growing business. Today, we're going to be talking about how you can get your local business on Google Search and Maps. Now, I'd love to know if any of you already are on Google Search and Maps, or if that's been something you've been struggling with, but you'll see a URL here, which is grow.google/small businesses. And again, that is if you need anything small business wise and you'd like to learn more, get with the Google partner, UTA or REI, who brought you here today. Let them know that you would like to know more about this, and they will be able to help you either themselves connect you with Google team or bring me in if it's something that we need to do some training on. And my name again is Maria Elena Duran. I live in the base of the Panhandle, so I'm in Midland, Odessa, Texas. You either know us by Jessica Fell in the Well or Friday Night Lights is normally how people know us. But of course, I've been all over. I was born in Chicago, Illinois, but I've lived all over the place. And this is my Twitter handle. If you want to tweet me, if you want to tag me in Instagram, the second one is Instagram. And you do see some text flowing underneath, and that is just closed caption to make sure this is easily accessible and a good learning environment for everybody in the room. So we're going to be talking about what is a Google business profile. Some of you may know it as it was called before 2022, January 2022, it changed its name, and it used to be known as Google My Business, or GMB, or sometimes it's miscalled or misnamed and labeled Google Listing, but it is a Google business profile. And we'll also talk about how you can create your business profile, how to manage that and truly optimize it for visibility across search and maps. And then I like to always end this with free resources that you can use to help you even maximize what you're getting from the visibility on Google Search and Maps. Now, a lot of people don't know about Google Business Profile, and they think that they cannot control what Google actually sees about their business. And that is a myth. You can control it, and you can control it here within your Google Business Profile, but you must claim and verify that you are the business owner. So let's dive on in. I'm going to take you past the next slide because I don't want to bog us down right now with a video. Sometimes I show a video, and what I'll do when I send out a copy of the slides is I will send you a link to that video, just because, again, sometimes depending on how the internet is, it can be wonky. It doesn't play friendly. I don't control it, unfortunately, and I don't want this to be a laggy experience for you. So I'm going to skip over that, but send it to you. Now, what is a Google Business Profile? You heard me mention that it's a way to control how you're seen in Google Search and Maps. And this is what it looks like on a mobile device. Know that 79% of us go to mobile first before we do anything on desktop. And this is something for us to pause a moment and really soak in as small business owners or marketers or freelancers. And the reason I say that is because if you are building for desktop first, you are missing the majority of market. So a lot of people don't realize they have to have a website that's mobile responsive and mobile friendly, which means you do not pinch and zoom when they need to see on a mobile device, and you don't have to swipe side to side to finish a sentence. This is critical, because if you are not mobile responsive on your website, it is one of the things that Google does penalize for you. So understand that people search on Google when they want to know, go, do, or buy. It's the first place they go. It's the lion's share. 94% of people go to Google first when they want to find information with strong intent. So they're really paying attention and looking. They're just not surfing through socials. They are looking with purpose. And because of that, they utilize a mobile device. And if we aren't within the first 10 search results, first 10 organic search results, they're not going to see us. So there are pages within Google search, and you'll even see the pages going away now as you start scrolling, and you'll see load more, load more, load more. You will see that happening. And if you're not in the first 10 organic search results, it doesn't matter how amazing you are. People do not look past that. They won't scroll very far. And because of that, if you live on later pages or further down than the 10, you don't exist. And if people don't know you exist, they cannot do business with you. So this is what it looks like. You'll see your name right here, right prominent there, along with photos and videos that you actually put in. And also you can have customers add that in. So you have UGC, that's known as user generated content. It's something that a customer actually put in there. You've got quick links to all of your other online presences, and also how to contact you, your location, your hours of operation. This is important. And your phone number. We'll delve in deeper why this is so very important. It does give you a lot of credibility. Understand, in March 2020, when the entire world and business environment changed, when people could not find a business, when they were Googling, when they were looking online, they believed that business went out of business. And there is such credibility when they can find you on search and maps. And when they do find you this way, it's a lot different on how their behavior is. We know when people are looking in their local area, they might be trying to find out who has this in inventory, or who carries this brand even locally. Can I buy it locally? Because they do want to support their local community. Or they're just trying to see if you are local and they can find you. So there's a decision that's made between search and on maps that is a little bit different on the immediacy of what somebody is looking for compared to researching. And then business profiles, remember what I said about it's very important that you show up in the first 10 organic search results. So if you look at search, there'll be pictures at the very top. That's Google Shopping. That's a paid position. The first result has a little square, a little green square that says ad. That is also a paid position. So you can utilize Google Ads and Google Merchant Center to get into those positions. But then after that, there's 10 organic search results, and you cannot pay for those. Those have to actually match what somebody's looking for. And Google needs to be able to find you. If you think of Google's search bot as a person, and you create and develop things for Google search bot, now it can absolutely put you in the results that people are finding when they do want to know, go, do, or buy. This is so important. So let me tell you about Google's algorithm, because you hear a lot of people talk about it. The number one thing you'll be penalized for is if your site's not mobile friendly or mobile responsive. If it's not, you're not going to show up in the first 10 searches. There is nothing that you can do. You can spend amazing amount of money on SEO, search engine optimization, but you're not going to show up if you don't have that. The second item that you're not going to show up in the first 10 searches for is if your site is not secure. So it has to have in the URL up in the address bar, it has to have HTTPS. S is secure. That is usually through your hosting company where your actual website's hosted. And that has to be secure, because if that is not in place, again, there's nothing you can do to show up in the first 10 searches, and you must search there because people do not look past there. They're very, very focused and they expect immediate results. Now, how Google actually comes up with where you show up in search is 3 things in that algorithm, which actually each item is anywhere from 250 to 300 components of each that are actually factoring in to decide what shows up high in the Google search. So number 1 is, first, are you relevant to what somebody's searching for? How well do you match what they're searching for? So that's number 1. And we'll talk more about this as we go further into your Google business profile. Number 2 is how far are you from the person that's searching? And number 3 is your prominence score, which means when was the last time you responded to your review? Do you have reviews? Have you uploaded any video? How often? When was the last time you updated your website? So we'll talk more about that and how you can utilize your Google business profile to help make sure that you're optimizing that and showing up even for that. Because if all 10 searches are about you, it's your Google business profile hanging nice and really nice space, nice visual real estate on that right-hand side. And then it's all about you. Now you really have given yourself a lot of good social cred, showing up high there and really positioning yourself as the person they want to do business with, an expert in your industry or your product or service. And we all, it doesn't matter whether we have champagne dreams or beer budget, we all want to deal with the expert. So as you look at your Google business profile, if you've not claimed it yet, you're going to go to google.com/business. So that is where you'll get started. I also encourage you, because it is changing. So it depends on the region of the actual state that you're at. It is changing that now you can go to maps.google.com. So you might even want to start there and search your address. You're actually going to click add your business if you don't see yourself there. Now, why would you be there if you didn't put yourself there? It could have been that maybe you accidentally put yourself there when you put some information in, but you've not claimed and verified, so you've not been able to do anything to manage it. It could be that you had an employee, a team member, a family member who put you there to really get you positioned on the maps, or maybe it was a advertising or a marketing company or a freelancer you work with. But it can also be, let's say, a customer who is giving you a good review, who actually put you on the map there, or it could be the customer of another business who accidentally did that, thinking that they were at your location and you were one and the same. It also could be a competitor who wants to own and really show their business when people are looking for your business, because they see that as a good visibility play. Those are some of the things that's happening. So I want you to really understand that you must take ownership of your online reputation, because when people are looking for you, these impressions are lasting and they do count towards you, whether you've claimed it or not. And we need to be in charge of all of our online presence and truly show Google the right information so people feel confident that we are a good business and a viable business. You can also see the walkthrough here. And if you want to take a screenshot, I'm just going to move that little red dot away, but you will get a copy of today's slides and I'll show you that at the end. But you can click on the little menu. So this is known as a hamburger menu. If anybody ever calls that to you, now you know what that is. Looks like a slice of bread on top, slice of bread at bottom, and the meat in the middle. It looks like a hamburger menu. You can click add your business, and then you can right click on the map and also click add your business there and follow the prompts. It's pretty self-explanatory if you follow the prompts and then answer the questions. So it's nice and easy to be able to get your business there online, and now you have to claim and verify it. Or if you already have a Gmail or a Google account, and this is a free personal Gmail. So this is not the paid workspace account, which used to be known as G Suite. This is any free personal Gmail account. You now have access to be able to build and develop and claim your Google business profile, which again is 100% free. Just like all of the apps that you can access within Google, it's 100% free with a Gmail account. But let's say you have your email account and you do not want a Gmail account. Not to worry. All you need to do is set up a free Google account, and you can do this right here. If you look at the bottom left-hand corner at the URL there, which is accounts.google.com/signup, and you will use your current email. It doesn't change it to Gmail. You'll be able to create a password, and like any other password protected site online, this is how you'll access all the free Google tools. The hardest part of this, really, it's easy to get a Google account, a free personal Google account. The hardest part is remembering your password to it. Now, once you've done that and you are looking for your business, you can now type in your business name here too. When you go to google.com/business and you're signed into your Google account or your free personal Gmail account, all you need to do is go to google.com/business, the URL I showed you in the first slide as one way to get there. And now when you do that, you'll go here and you'll have the ability to actually type in your business name, and you will see a drop-down menu of all the businesses that match there across the US. So make sure you pick the right one that's your location, your city, and choose it. And if you're not there, then you can enter it. So if you're following along, this is how you'd get there, okay? So I gave you a couple of ways, and you'll find that with Google, there usually are 2 to 3 ways to access something. And I like to let you know what that is to meet you wherever you feel most comfortable. Now, once you've done that, the next step as you walk along this process, whether you did this through Google Maps or through going to google.com/business, will be the ability to start building your business profile. You will be given a category to choose. There are a little over 3,000 categories, and nothing matches perfectly with what makes you so very unique. And I understand that. Know that you have a chance to customize that, and you really need to if you want to optimize your Google business profile, but not yet until you've proven that you're the owner. Google doesn't want you to have all these abilities to control this business on search and maps until you've proven that you're the owner. So we'll talk about that as we go through the steps here. Now, as you're seeing, the audio has cut out on Teams is what somebody said. Just wanted to let everybody know. Can they hear me? Just let me know. I can hear.
Yes.
Okay, I can hear.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Just making sure. Sometimes I get scared that I'm only talking to myself because the internet doesn't tell me much over when I've got everything covered on my actual screen here. All right, everybody, let's jump back into the build your Google business profile. Thank you for letting me know and confirming. You're going to pick one business category, right? So just pick one right now, the one that's closest to what you do or what you do most of. The next thing that you're going to then be asked, so you just pick one right now. After you've claimed and verified, I'll show you how you can customize that category a little bit more and show your uniqueness. But the next question is really an important question because there is a myth out there that people with home-based businesses cannot have a Google business profile, or they're scared to death. They're going to show up, their home address is going to show up here, and somebody's going to knock on their door at 5 o'clock in the morning expecting product, service, or a meeting. That's not the case. Okay, you have total control over that, and you as a home-based business can use Google. You can use a Google business profile and have one. Here's what you do. If you want foot traffic, this is people coming in, you're a salon, you're a restaurant, you're a bar, you're a bookstore, you're a beauty shop, or any shop. If you want foot traffic, that's people coming in your door, and you have a storefront or a location that you want them to come see you, you need to click yes, because that means you do want to show your address. You want to show everybody on maps, making it easy for them to find you and to be able to search and do business with you. But if you do not want them coming to your location, you're a home-based business. Maybe you are a carpet installer. So you have a whole warehouse where you keep all of your tools, and you may even park your van, but it's not meant to be public facing. It's not meant to entertain or has a showroom or anything like that. Or maybe you're a by appointment only place, an office. So you might have even a common workplace or a shared workplace, and you are by appointment only. You still can use this, but you're going to click no. You're going to show that you service the area in the next few screens, but you're saying, no, you do not want people to be able to search you and find you on search and maps. All right. Now, let me tell you, whether you click yes or no, when you do get verified as a Google business profile showing that you're the owner, Google will give you a chance now to customize those things like I was talking to you about, the categories, and be able to make those changes. The scary thing is, though, the first thing when you log in for the first time, it's going to ask you to drop that PIN, right? It wants you to drop that PIN. If you answered no, do not be tempted by that. Just leave that alone and skip it, because you don't want to drop the PIN. You don't want people to see your address. You don't want that location. So don't do it. Even though it's asking for it, just skip it, and you can still operate and manage your Google business profile without ever having to drop the PIN. So don't be tempted. All right, so we click yes or no, then we click next. After we click next, now you'll enter your actual address. Understand that PO boxes do not work here. All right, Google will not approve any PO box. It has to be an actual location. It could be your home address, but remember, if you picked no, it's not going to show up in Maps. But we are asking it here because this is the only way we can verify. About 90% of the time, Google can verify only with using what's known as a postcard method, and I'll talk about that more in a moment. But most of the time, they will not talk to you or chat with you online to verify, and very rarely do they call. In fact, do not believe Google ever calls you without you instigating it, and most of the time you know that you went through hoops to be able to get Google to call you, so you're expecting the call. It's never a surprise call, and there's a lot of unscrupulous marketers who will say that they're Google and they're not. Okay, so Google does not call you unless you want them to. So as you see this, you're going to enter your address, and this is your actual address where you receive mail. Now, if you have a PO box, I was working with, like I said, I'm in Midland, Texas, and I was working with our Midland Community Theater, and they have an actual location. I mean, it's where everybody goes to be able to see plays or to audition, or where all the costumes are. All of that is happening there. And what happens is that what you see is that people couldn't find them or couldn't for the Google business profile because they're getting their mail at their PO box. So there was no way for it to be shown by Google, because it would have been actually it would have been disregarded, and it would have actually just said, you don't qualify for a Google business profile because you have a PO box. So what the executive director did is he had the actual verification postcard sent to his home address. He used his home address. He put and answered at the very beginning, no, he didn't want the address to show up, had it sent to his home address. As soon as it was sent there, and he was able to put in the 5-digit code that you need, which is a code verifying that you are the business owner, he now was able to manage that Google business profile. And doing that, now he could change the actual address and location. We have questions. Is it useful to accept the $500 free credit from Google for Google Ads? Yes, I mean, it really is. I could always go for free. Just know what you're doing in Google Ads, because Google Ads can get very, very expensive. So you really need to understand your keywords. In fact, in Google Ads, I wouldn't put even your credit card number in there at all. You can still sign up without a credit card number. Go to the keyword planner and start using the keyword planner. A lot of times people will ask me, how can they figure out what keywords are? And there's a lot of great paid services, but the Google Ads keyword planner is 100% free. And I encourage you to use that, because it'll show you volume, it'll show you what's popular. It'll even give you a chance to see what people are competing for, like your competitors. And maybe that's something that you want to be seen in and play in that same pool, or maybe you want to start somewhere else where there's not as much visibility as your competitors are really doing, but a place where you can be seen and really rise above because no one else is using those keywords. Does that make sense? Great questions, everybody. All right, let me see if I missed any questions right now while I do see the questions up here, just in case. Okay, I think we're good. And okay, perfect. I'm so glad some people have already gotten their Google account. That's perfect. All right, once you enter your address in, the next thing you're going to be, you're going to have to make a decision, not given, you're going to have to make a decision on, is putting your service area in. This is really important, especially if you're a home-based business. Like I said, I'm in Midland, Odessa. So Odessa is about 16 miles to the west of me, and it's still a service area. So even though my address may be in Midland, I want Google to know, hey, I'm not taking anybody at my home address, but I definitely want to let them know I serve Midland County, Odessa County, or Ector County is actually Odessa. You can actually put by county, city, or zip code. All right. And understand there's a wide area here. I know for those of you who are here from Texas and Oklahoma, which is the majority, we can go miles, I mean, like 110 miles to a chamber event and come back for a lunch, you know, from having lunch there. So it's not foreign to travel that many miles out in rural America, but it is foreign for Google. And so when I say add a service area, keep it as close and tight as you can. Understand that the superpower of your Google business profile is local. It is hyper local focused. You can use other tools to reach people across all different states and other places, but this is not the tool for that. Because what happens if you put in here your service area, let's say, you know, I'm in Dallas, Texas, and I serve Seattle and Chicago and Tampa. Well, now I've diluted the effectiveness, and it doesn't matter what I put on there because nobody's going to see it. Google looks at it and says, wow, that's a big area. We can't show that there at all. Right? So just know that it's very hyper focused to local. And I highly encourage you to do that because a lot of times you're not ready to compete on a national stage until you have at least 60 5-star reviews. You must, at minimum, to even compete, have 65-star reviews. If you're a product-based company, you have to have at least 120 5-star reviews. Now, understand, a 5-star review that somebody just leaves and they don't put any text underneath it does not count. It doesn't count towards your stars. It doesn't count towards your averages. There must be text underneath of them giving you feedback, or else it doesn't count at all. Not just for the 120 and the 60 stars, but at all within your reviews. So do keep that in mind too. They do need to leave information. So what you can do when you're local and you keep very focused, now you have the opportunity, because you were someone before you started your business, right? You worked with people, you volunteer places, people know you as a person. So you already have some reputation. People know, like, and trust you in certain contact spheres. Reach out to them and ask, you know, hey, you talk to your daycare provider, you talk to your church leader, the head of the volunteer group that you're a part of, your child's soccer coach. If you've done any business with anyone locally, ask them to leave reviews, and it gives you a chance to be a bigger fish in a small pond, so that when you do make a national debut and really start putting money towards, let's say, an ad spend, now you're getting the most bang for your buck. Because if you're trying to do this without having it, you're going to spend the most that you can on ads, because you're seen as an unknown, and Google can't trust the information. In fact, when I talk about Google trusting the information, you heard me talking about prominence score. One of the best things that you can do to really help your actual ranking in Google search is to connect all of your Google tools. So that's your, excuse me, your Google business profile, your YouTube channel, because Google owns YouTube. So your YouTube channel, your Google search, your merchant center. So that's for Google Shopping, Google Images, and Google Lens. If you don't know that, that's 100% free. So Google Shopping tab is free, not Google Shopping ads. That's different. Connect your Google Analytics, your Google Search Console. Google Search Console lets you know how Google sees your site and where your mistakes are and what you need to fix, because you're not getting seen as much by the bot, the Google bot that's searching. Google Analytics lets you know how people are searching and how they're consuming information on your website. And all of this is free. Everything that I'm telling you is free. But when Google sees those signals from all of its trusted Google tools, it now sees that your information is correct and you're a viable business, and it will show you up higher in search because it confirms all this information with all of its tools. It sees that. And understand that Google became the #1 search engine in the world because the information there is correct. That's why it always matters what it sees there. And that's the reason I'm out here training and teaching people, is because Google only knows that only it can get the best information and the correct information from people who are owning their business, because they'll share that information. So it's really important for you to be able to take ownership of that. Once you've done that, it'll help you with your search results. Now, when you go click next, you're going to go ahead and put your contact information and your website. If you have one, great, put it there. If you don't worry about it. You may not want to put that yet, or maybe you're going to launch your business and you're announcing it early, because you can do that with your Google business profile and say coming in, in February 2023 if you want to. Now, when you verify, more often than not, the phone call number here will be grayed out. You won't even have that opportunity to do that, but you will be able to do postcard by name. Now, if you're at a common location, let's say you're at a shared location where there are a lot of other people, or maybe even at home, and somebody may throw it away because it does not look like a postcard. What it looks like is a W-2 with perforations on the side and top. So a lot of people think it's just junk mail and they will throw it away. So you may want to put your contact name there to give everybody an alert, and whoever is getting the mail at home or processing the mail wherever you're at, let them know that you're expecting your actual Google verification, because you won't be able to do anything more that's visible. You'll be able to do and make some changes while you're waiting for that actual postcard. But again, you're not going to be able to see that and publish that where everybody can see that on Search and Maps. It takes about 5 business days for your postcard to get here. Here's a caution that I want to let you know, because a lot of people don't get their Google business profile because they make a critical mistake. And here's the critical error that they make. They send it off. So everything here, you want to double check spelling and everything, and they send it off, and then they start looking at it again and realizing, oh, it wasn't Sullivan Street, it's Sullivan Avenue. Oh, I put the wrong zip code, or I put more numbers than that was there. So then they try to change it. Understand, you're trying to make a change before you've actually verified and confirmed that you're the business owner. So Google then puts you in this verification loop that you just get to sit there forever, because you're trying to make a change on something that you haven't proven you're the owner. So now you have to usually start from scratch is what happens. So I just want to let you know that if you don't get your postcards, sometimes that's the confusion right there, because it's in that verification loop. Now, while you're waiting for that verification to come, let's see, what if a business, IT consultant services, which can be done remotely? Understand that there are a lot of businesses, Rachel, that can actually serve people worldwide. This is not the place for that, but you do want a profile to verify and to be able to show Google that you are a business. So even if you do it remotely, that's what I do. I do all of my business remotely. I still have a Google business profile, because there could be one time when I am at the lobby of church, or I am at, the HEB Feast of Sharing, and I'm sitting and talking to somebody, and they say, well, tell me again what you do. And I'm talking to them. I'm actually delivering products and services at their location, wherever they're at, be it in a parking lot, in my child's school parking lot, at a soccer game, or at a coffee shop. Okay. So understand that is the superpower of Google Business Profile. To do anything more than that will just negate everything. So that means that if you start spreading it out more than 100 miles, and actually people that I'm coaching, I explain to them, don't go more than 35 to 40 miles. If you truly want to show up high on the first page of search, stay within that area, use other tools to reach nationwide, but use this tool to at least get that and get as many stars as you can to really stay competitive. It's a nail it before you scale it mentality. So you're truly trying to nail this before you start taking it national. And that's what this tool is, because you really disable its ability to try to reach any further. I've seen it happen many times, and I've sat across from many small businesses who are like, but Maria, I can really do all of this. I said, I understand that, but it's not the tool for that. It'll be a waste of your time to do it if you do that. So I just want to make sure you get the most out of your time, because your time is more valuable than money, right? So now we're going to go ahead and add services. You're very welcome. Go ahead and add services. I love that you're asking questions here. I put my description that the business is primarily virtual. Yes, primarily virtual. Yes, you absolutely can do that, Audra. And then say primarily, but still talk about the description of what you do, because you don't want to, you only have those 750 characters to work with, and you don't want that to be taken up with virtual when somebody may be looking, just say, I need help with this. They don't even really at this point, when they're looking for your product, service, or solution for the challenge that they're having, they don't necessarily even know or want somebody virtual. They're just looking for the solution. So you want to show up for them, because remember, the description is for them, what they're searching for, not for us. And a lot of times when I read people's description on their Google business profile, they're writing for them, and we are not our best customers. It's up to you to become an expert in your customer and understand the words that they're using, how they're searching, and exactly what they're looking for. What is the benefit? Not just the words they're saying, but what is it they're actually seeking at the core? So as you add your services, you'll see the category that you chose will actually help and give you some suggestions. Plus, you can also see right here at the very bottom, that little blue link you see at the bottom of that laptop screen says add custom service. It's a plus sign and add custom service. That's what you're going to do. You're going to click add custom service there if you have custom services that you want to add. Now, you're going to also add business hours. If you're 24/7, don't worry about it. Just leave this alone. But if you have certain hours, put that in. Just remember to keep up with this, because if people, and especially if you're location based, if they go to your location and it says on Google that you're open and you're closed, they're not mad at Google at all. They're mad at you. And that's part of the first impression you get to have on whether or not they'll even consider coming back to see you. So do keep up with this, because a lot of times people forget holidays and such. You know, a lot of even, Monday was MLK Day and a lot of people forgot to do this, even though Google will often remind you. So keep that in mind. You can also add messaging. If you don't know what that is you can actually turn on messaging so that when somebody's on Maps and they want to ask you a question, they can text you through your Google Maps actual profile, because that business profile shows up on search and Maps. It shows up in both places, and they can text you and you will see their phone number, but they will not see yours when you text back. So you can actually share that with 3 other people at your location or your business, wherever you're at, if you're even virtual, but you can share that. So that makes it nice, because whoever answers the question first normally who earns the business. Every real estate agent will tell you that it's the person that answers the phone that gets the business. So do remember though, if you do make this enabled, this function enabled, so you check that on, you do need to answer quickly. Texts are expected to be responded to within a matter of moments, at the most 3 hours. If you take 6 to 24 hours and you have a text on here, a lot of people get mad thinking you're ignoring them. So don't turn that on. Just know that's the nature of text. It's very immediate. Now, this is a chance for you to add your business descriptions, like I was sharing with Audra a moment ago. So as you look at this, understand you only have 750 characters to write a description. That is a punctuation mark, a letter, a number, a space. It's all of those that make up characters, and you only have 750. And as you type this, it's keeping count of how many you have left. Whether or not you show up first or in the first 10 searches of an organic search result for Google will depend on how relevant, how well you match what people are searching. If you don't match here, you're not showing up, because it's that heavy a piece of the formula that is in that algorithm. So keep that in mind. What are people looking for? Are they really looking for a pediatric dentist? Or are they looking for, what do you do if you've got a 13-year-old with crooked teeth? When do you start braces? So they're not using the word pediatric dentist. What are their words? And remember, they also voice search. Hey, Google, hey, Alexa, we search that way. And we speak in full sentences. So it's not even just sound bites and keywords. They're keyword phrases. We need to know this. We need to understand who our customer is. So let me give you an expert marketer's advice. If you don't have reviews yet, I would start first with your reviews. Read your reviews, because in your reviews, your customers are telling you why they went looking for you, what mattered most to them, and how you really did benefit their life. But if you don't have reviews yet, or you even opened your business, go read your competitors' reviews. This is competitive research, because it will let you know the people who are likely to be your customers, what words and what matters to them. It also shows you where that competitor is missing the mark. And sometimes what they are missing can be your sweet spot and what you provide. Okay, so you might use those words of what people are saying they dislike or what they wanted more to have, but use their own words, because if you don't, it doesn't matter how amazing you are, you're not going to show up, because you're not relevant to the words they use. Google is not going to understand that 13-year-old with braces means pediatric. Okay, so it's not going to be able to process that. Keep that in mind when you're looking at your description. Your photos, also add photos. Look at photos that really depict, control the photos that you have out there that show your actual business. So even though your customers can leave photos, what you want to do is put more photos out there so that you can show that, and not just your customers. Now, sometimes, it happens. I was working with a hotel, a resort actually, And they put a picture out there, they had all their beautiful lobby and everything. And here comes a customer with ugly knobby knees with their toes in the sand. And that's not what they wanted at the top of their Google business profile, but it was the most popular because this customer had friends and family members who were really interested. So the best way to combat that, because you do want actual customers' photos, you like that because people want real photos. They know we're all savvy about stock photos. We are not fooled by that. So we want to see some actual photos. What you're going to do is go ahead and use those, but you're going to go ahead and put more of your own photos. So you can be the one to really showcase and be in control of those first impressions. Do you know when you add photos, make sure that you are putting, if you have the opportunity to put alternate text there, because understand that Google reads the alternate text. It can't read a picture. It's reading the alternate text for that. Absolutely. So you can also advertise. I'm not going to talk about that right now. So I'll just say skipped, and I would recommend that you do that too, because that's not what we're focused on. And we actually do have a whole webinar on how you can get started with Google Ads and some of the best practices. Now, remember, you're waiting for that verification postcard. That's about what you can do, and it's still not public facing. But once it's public facing, now you're verified. You can put in that 5-digit verification code, and you can now manage your business info. All right, so let's dive in. When you're managing your business info, if you're logged into your Google account, your free personal Gmail or free Google account that you created this with, and you go to search, you can search for your business, and this is what comes up, all of these icons. So you can edit, you can read reviews, you can read your messages. You have to enable that first because by default, this is off. You can also start looking at advertising or even changing your products and services, which you do want to do. So let's talk about how we can optimize this. First, we're going to edit our profile. We're going to look at the business name. You may have used your proper business name, but you're really known as Vince's. So you want to change that a little bit to really match what people locally know you as. Whatever you chose as your category, that's your primary category, but you want to choose and use the 9 other subcategories. So you get 10 categories, 9 are subcategories, 1 is the primary. The primary will be listed up here, but other things like in Vince's case, he has a leather repair shop and he actually has a dry cleaning also. So he could add all of these as other categories, which gets him more visibility in those categories. So keep that in mind because it also shows what makes him unique and the unique products and services he offers. Okay. You can do this too. In fact, a lot of times when I'm looking at people and they'll say, well, Maria, I sit here and I have reviews and my competitor only has 1 or 2 reviews and I'm still showing up lower than they are in maps. I will always ask, well, let's look. And I will see and be able to show them, well, your competitor has 4 or 5 categories and you have just 1. That's why they are showing up higher than you. Okay. Google keeps changing my hours. How do I stop that? You will. So one of the things that you get that to me is one of the most irritating things, because I know we're all busy business owners, is anytime they want to change your hours, they'll send you an email. And if you don't respond to it, sometimes it is by default that it makes that change. So you do need to respond to it. And you might want to get in the habit of, let's say I'm going to check my Google business profile every week. Every Monday, I'm going to check and just review it because this is my public facing online presence. And I'm just going to make sure nothing's wrong with that. And now you can see that and just say, no, I don't accept that. I don't accept that. Because it'll be a little button kind of like in this orangish red that says Google thinks your hours are this, or somebody reported that your hours are actually this open, and you can say accept or decline. So that's what's happening. You do need to proactively go in there and decline it or accept it. But sometimes by default, it gets accepted. Okay. Now you also have the opportunity to put some attributes here. And I told you, I'm an Air Force brat, so I do look for the veteran led. I do look for that quite often because it's that meaningful to me. And I do want to look for veteran-led businesses, but you might want to use any of these icons to help your business stand out and really show how unique you are. You can also upload your products here too, which is a great place for you to showcase your products. You're not paying for ads. You're not paying to showcase your products. This is 100% free. So you can add products, and the same thing if you have services, you can add services. Now, if you have a brick and mortar store, so let's go back to the products, you're adding products, you can also utilize Pointy, which is a free tool you're able to use with Google to showcase exactly in Google Shopping, where your actual and what your actual products are, which is really important. One of the things that I talk to people in how to sell online with e-commerce, because I've got 14 plus years in international e-commerce, I like to explain to people you can use Google Lens. And if you never used it, it's when you use Google, you're actually in Google Lens, it's an app. You take a picture and it'll search for everything there. And sometimes you could be, let's say, at a baby shower, and you see a baby shower gift and you want to know where to get it. And if you want to show up locally there or show up at all, you need to be able to show up and showcase that you actually have that same product. Okay. Now you can edit your service. Is there a vetting process to prevent non-veterans from using the veteran flag? You know, I'm really not sure about that. So that's a great question. And I can ask about that if you'll remind me to ask that question, because I do know there is a process, but I don't know what it is. And I do need to, that's a great question. It's funny, I haven't been asked that question before. So yes, let's learn together. Make sure you ask me so I'll remember to ask that question. Yeah, we don't want any, no stolen honor at all. We also can add our services here too. So you can add your services here if you don't already have them, and you can even put custom information. Again, all the information, the more you can give Google, the better it does show up to be able to match when people are looking for you. You can add photos too. Your cover photo could be your location if you want people to find you, especially if you're hidden behind something when people are looking. So do look at your location and see if you want that to show up. If you're location based, if you want people to come into your location, it could be that you're showcasing, let's say you do bookkeeping and nobody's going to want to just look at a screen with a spreadsheet, but maybe they want to see a happy customer, you know, closing up their folder, showing that they're really pleased, or the happy customer that turned a shoebox of receipts into something else, or a desktop or a mobile phone full of receipts into something else. Okay. For great photos though, remember, you do want to have good lighting on there, and look at the dimensions that you need to have for your Google business profile photos. They usually run about 720 pixels by 720. You can also use video. Here's where I explain to people, if they're using social, I repurpose everything here, because there's no reason to create more content. Curate it from the socials you have, because not everybody is on social. In fact, you may think everybody sees it over there, and some people don't use Facebook, Instagram, and some people will not use TikTok at all. But where else can you show it? Here, and even in YouTube Shorts. So make the most of that actual content you've already created and meet people where they're at, because it takes a tremendous amount of time and energy and money to get people who are looking here to pay attention over here. And most of the time we don't have that. We are wanting cash flow right away. You can also add updates, let people know what you're doing in your business. This is good because it shows up and is given favor in Google's algorithm for 5 days after you post. So it's a great way to stay visible. Whenever anybody asks me, how often should you do update posts, Maria? I tell them every 5 days. So you can keep letting the algorithm know that you're a viable business and you're an active growing business. And you can add photos in there. You can even add a call to action button like sign up or buy now or call us or contact us. So you have all that available to you. And you can put offers there too. So it may just be an update. Maybe you've got a new team member, or maybe you're celebrating the 20th anniversary of a team member that everybody in the community has seen before, and you just want to showcase that out and really show up in search and maps. You can also put an offer that will be visible until the offer actually happens. Or let's say you have an event, you want to put this webinar on there, and it shows up until the time that the webinar starts, and then it goes away. So you have an end date to that too. Okay. Now, when you connect with customers, keep this in mind. You do want to read your reviews. This is very important. This is a critical point. So I wanted to let you know this expert marketer tip. Say thank you for good reviews. 97% of businesses do not say thank you for a good review. They look for the bad ones. That's what we're focused on. And we want to fix those, but we never say thank you for a good review. If you want to bring yourself and elevate you to the top, yourself to the top 3% and stand out amongst your competitors, say thank you for a good review. It's a great no-cost way to signal not just your customers that you listen and you care, but also to all of us lurking and reading those reviews, deciding who to do business with, is we know that you listen And who wants to do business with a business that doesn't listen, right? And then, of course, respond to messages and utilize Q&A. So there's a chance for you to put Q&A on your Google business profile. This is also an optimization practice. I encourage people to write out 3 questions that they themselves have made because they know these are the FAQs, the frequently asked questions. Now answer your own question because you can do that. You can ask and answer. But in order for that to show publicly and be published on your Google business profile on Search and Maps, you have to have 3 upticks, 3 thumbs up, okay? You can be one of them. Now go find 2, friends, family members, whoever who has a different Google account, not your own Google account, get them to uptick that. You've got 3 upticks there, which is a like, and that means now it's showing publicly, okay? Now with managing reviews, if you're in business any amount of time, you are going to get negative reviews. And there are just trolls out there. Do not feed the trolls. Don't pay attention to them. There are going to be people even who I'll see businesses where it's somebody they haven't even done business with. And they'll say, I don't see you in our customer record, to just let everybody know as a signal that they're listening to the reviews and they're paying attention. It matters to them. But understand that you are going to have some negative reviews. So there are trolls. Don't feed the trolls. Don't pay attention to them. With the negative reviews, the best way to handle it is this. And I want you to really pay attention to this phrase. That's not the experience that we want for you. I'd like to learn more without jeopardizing your privacy. Would you contact me here? And you can put your mobile number to text you, or a link to your contact us form, or your email address, or your messenger or WhatsApp link, whatever is the best way for them to contact you. Put that there, because 3 things happen when you do that. Number 1, they realize it's person to person. A lot of times we can be downright nasty if we think we're talking to a bot or a computer, but when they realize they've actually reached a live human being, they slow down and they de-escalate their anger. It also, number 2, takes that fight offline. We are all too busy to win a fight online. And the more a review is interacted with, the higher Google sees that this is popular, and it shows up even higher in search. And that's not the first impression you want for everybody, unless you're showcasing that you actually listened to this customer, which does matter. But the third reason is sometimes somebody who has an actual negative review, it's a complaint and a request in just another format. So they're really asking, you have a chance to win them over when you listen. There was a taco stand here in Midland. Actually, it's a taco restaurant, so about a smaller size restaurant where people would just pick up and go. And this guy did not like his taco plate. So he took a picture of it and he posted it and said it was awful, gave them an awful review. And the owner said, that's not the experience that I want for you. I'd like to learn more without jeopardizing your privacy. Would you contact me here? And he happened to put his mobile number there. They talked, they were able to make adjustments. They met, he actually tried it out. He loved it. And then he was given 10 free coupons. And don't you know, he was running around Midland, Texas saying, I made that plate. He became a fan and an advocate. And you have that chance too, if you actually do listen and pay attention to what your customers are doing and what they're asking for. So that's really important for you to do. Understand, I've worked with a lot of financial institutions and credit unions and banks, and I've seen people actually put their account number, their routing number, and their password because they think they're having a private conversation in a review. So you are not lying by saying, I don't want to jeopardize your privacy, okay? You can also ask for reviews using this link. This is really important to do too, because the more that you ask, the more actually when people are already happy and they're pleased with you and you ask, that's the best time to ask. Most of the time, customers will tell us they don't leave reviews because they were never asked. So ask, right? Remind them, of course, messages, you can respond to messages. Remember what I said about the urgency of messages. Now, this part, just so you know, you can see this performance report right now, but this is being deprecated. So that means within the next 6 months, this is not going to be visible and available to you. That's why you do need to link your Google business profile with Google Analytics. And again, 100% free tool, but it lets you know how people are consuming your online presence, which is important because that helps you become an expert in your customer. When you are in there, you can click this 3 icons and you can add managers. So never, ever, ever give away your Google profile or your Google, any Gmail, your Google account password. Because when you do that, you're giving away the keys to the kingdom. That means that anybody who accesses your account and has that password can either shut you down or shut you out. And Google cannot do anything about it because you are seen as the owner. You have that information. You can add managers by putting their email address, and they can create their own password. And you can decide that they either manage, which means they can see it and do everything that you want, or they can even act like an owner. You're the primary owner, but they can act like an owner and do everything that you can do except shut you down or shut you out. But some people like the manager role, because manager means they can't add other people. So some people, again, if it's an agency, sometimes they need to add other people. So they'll give them owner role, but you're the primary owner, right? The primary owner is the only one who can shut the business down and shut them out. I have sat across from thousands of businesses who had amazing reviews and had no longer any access to it because they gave their password away. So now you can also add a new business profile. You can manage 100 businesses under one Google account. So if you've got a free personal Gmail account, you can manage up to 100 businesses. And while you're logged in, you can also access for help. So now the next step for you, if you've not done this while you've been following along, because I did paste this so you could follow along and do this yourself, you can actually start this process and request the postcard. Remember, 5 to 10 business days, and it does look like a W-2, so it does not look like a postcard. Update the things that you can until it's ready to be published. That way you have a jump start on that. And you can decide exactly what it is you need to get in first to really optimize if you do have a Google business profile. Now, understand, I know there is a saying out there, which is knowledge is power. And I just believe that's a myth, because knowledge is not powerful until it is applied. So what are you going to put on your to-do list today to really get done that this wasn't just entertaining for you or edutaining for you? It is something that you're really going to take action that will make a difference in the growth of your business. There are free resources also that you have access to, which, for example, this marketing kit, once you've already claimed and verified that you're the Google business profile owner, the business owner, you can then go here once you're logged into your Google account, and there's a free marketing kit where you can download flyers that have your name. You can even do posters. You can do social media graphics that are ready with actual testimonials in there. So all of that's pulling information from your profile. Okay. So that's what I wanted to cover today. I do want to say thank you to UTA and REI, because we're about to launch into the Q&A. And remember what I said with the Q&A. I am not going to record this part because I do want to keep it for your privacy, but I do want you to have the ability that I would love to ask for a review. If this was helpful to you, I'm going to show this QR code there. I would love for you to be able to provide a review to me, because I always like to improve and get better. And I love to know that this was helpful to you, because I do share reviews with our Google partners too. So if this is helpful, if you want to snap that, you can take a QR code right there and it'll take you right to the site where you're going to leave your information. It is a Google profile that you're going to. So a Google business profile to leave me a review there. But if you want a copy of today's slides, you can go here and just get a copy of today's slides. So all you need to do that there. Now, when you go there immediately right now, all you're going to see is December's webinar recording event. That's all you're going to see right now. But understand, tonight I will upload, after the system has rendered a copy of this recording, I will upload this one and you'll see that. But if you want to just go in there and see the slides already, you can do that. But again, all of that will be accessible tomorrow morning. I would say would be the best thing, because sometimes tonight to me is 2 a.m. So I don't want you to think that my night ends at midnight. I am definitely a night owl. All right, everyone, let's go ahead and run into Q&A. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Let me see here.